utilizing these indigenous approaches. What needs to happen at the moment is that those actions need to be brought to the fore through research and packaged in such a way that they can be incentivized. If you take us growing up seeing our mothers burying cocoyams in soil and they stay for quite a very long time underneath the earth, or drying their maize outside and the corridors and all those sort of things. Or we take the Zai example where potholes are dug and interspersed with organic matter. So all those examples do exist. The NDCs are just plans. They need to be turned into reality. How will they be turned into reality? Using leveraging these accessible climate action solutions that are actually at the fingertips of our informal sector, our mothers in community. It therefore means that I actually throw this back to research to actually look into this and package it in such a way that it becomes not just the central tool to inform policy, but become actually what needs to be leveraged to make the case that you cannot achieve, yes, Cameroon is going to cut emissions by about 32% or so in the next 9 years. How will that happen when actions on the ground are not being leveraged to be brought to the fore? And then we need incentives. And incentives here goes beyond just policy incentives, but in this case, we also need incentives that can actually come from the local level, from our municipalities, and actually in such a way that at least those who are carrying out these actions can be incentivized. Simple physical incentives whereby if people were to take loans, can they be waived off of interest rates? Can there be revenue contributed in the localities and the municipalities that can actually be used to actually incentivize these actors who are already taking this? Very simple actions that can actually cascade up to inform national policy are the kind of things that needs to happen. And thank you again for asking that question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your response, Dr. Minan. I think that question came from Dr. Suven John Paul. Suven, do you have a follow-up question, or is that okay from your side?
There is a follow-up question, sir.
Okay, please. Let's hear you out.
Okay, thank you for giving me the floor. Yeah, the follow-up question is, how will this be incentivized when at the local levels there are even no budgetary allocations for climate action? Our research has proven that at the council level, even at the mainstream government delegations that are directly involved with the climate activity that affects the livelihoods of rural communities, there are no budgetary allocations for specific climate action. How will that be possible?
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. A very valid question, and it's not just for Cameroon, but it's for every country in sub-Saharan Africa that I've learned from the work we do. And this is my answer. The truth is this: climate change is an investment opportunity. It's not just a government responsibility. And I think this is the narrative that I've been really trying to pull. Yes, of course, government has a role to play. Fine. But if government is not doing it, should we fold our arms and sit as our mothers actually get embroiled in this difficulty in which they are facing as a result of climate change? So this is the point. Let me go back to my original answer. Our mothers in communities and villages are practicing indigenous. They're the custodians of indigenous knowledge. Fine. That is ticked. Anecdotically, empirically proven true. Second, do they have the incentives? And are the incentives only supposed to come from God? No. A mother who produces maize or produces cassava or produces vegetables and get it lost through post-harvest losses will get disincentivized. How about we look at solar dryers in which we can work to decentralize to those mothers so that at least they can dry their vegetables, dry their produce, so that even if they are not able to sell it, at least they're not going to lose it. That's actually an incentive. Then from there, the data coming out of this is what is going to use to inform policy, because what we have observed, policy is easily done up there, not even using empirical data, and then it is try to force down on people. But now we need to change that paradigm. Let research now start to be leveraging. I'm not saying that is not being done, but I'm just trying to say the dimension of a business dimension, climate change as an investment opportunity. Actually, that case needs to be made strongly, and then use it to then make sure that at least at the local level, provincial level, we start to make that case so that incentives can start to come from that perspective. And another incentive is also investment from the private sector. And the private sector is not big corporations. It's you and me, whereby what we have seen from the work we are doing is simple solar dryers that youth are actually fabricating. are now being decentralized to communities. Mothers are assessing that are drying. They're making more money. They're putting it in cooperative. They're taking loan in cooperative. They're buying inputs like briquettes, like organic fertilizers. And people now are buying up what they're producing because it is not chemicalized. It is nutritious food. And as a result of that, they're creating enterprises. So we must start with what we have. And I like what someone said in the chat here, that at least we need to think local and act global. Here, what I'm saying is let's think local, act local, and use the local knowledge for it to inform global dimensions. I am in no way trying to say that your question is that government should not play a role. No, we all need to play a role, but where government lacks, we need to lead. Because sometimes government follow substance, not only form. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the answer, sir. Thank you so much for the answer.
Thank you.